television production and the cable networks and television production, we had something that I think was a really unique concept here that I think we were the only ones thinking along these lines. But we were going to take, now remember, television production, there are people who make the product, and then there are the people who show the product. They're not necessarily, and more than 50% of the time, they aren't the same person. And even the same person, in corporations, they're typically run by different people, and there's a lot, it really is an arm's length transaction, and they've got to deal with participants, so they have to be treated fairly. So it's really standalone businesses. The production is separate from the networks. Universal, unfortunately, didn't have a broadcast network. They're not associated with ABC or NBC or CBS or Fox or the WB or UPN. They're by themselves. Our game plan was, this has evolved. I mean, you guys probably grew up. There's not that much a distinction between the networks. You watch shows, and you'll go wherever there's a hit. So our view was, let's turn USA into our network. And by owning both pieces and controlling both pieces, we could get out of the very inefficient business of producing for networks. We could, networks typically order, I'll exaggerate a little bit, but if you have a big name talent like David E. Kelley, somebody like that, they'll get a 22, 26 episode order, and after 3 or 4 shows if you have something that works. Meanwhile, you've got this commitment to make this many shows. Now you're cutting back, you're paying breakage. We had a different point of view, and being cable, we can be a little flexible on this. We're going to go with short orders, get more shots, and when you have a show that works, we were going to run with it. And the entertainment business is about getting great creative people, letting them do their thing as efficiently as possible, many times as possible, and letting the audience decide. And especially in the television business, where shows, unlike the film business, when shows can test positively or negatively and may or may not be accepted. The testing is not a great correlation to what actually happens when you put it on the screen. Unlike the film business, well, I can't even think of an example where something didn't test well but performed well. The audience is the audience when you're testing, and consequently, if you have a winner or loser before you ever launch the movie. So by primarily for USA, we were going to be an efficient producer, and we were going to do 2 things. 1, build up a television production business, and 2, build up a very valuable cable asset, which would be our network. We'd rebrand it the Universal Channel. And we would still produce for the networks, but it would also give us some backbone in dealing with the networks, because the networks would know that if they got too tough with us, we'd take it and put it on USA, our own channel. So that was our game plan on the cable side, on the television production side.